Augie Steinbeck is a war photographer who has a brilliant son named Woodrow and 3 daughters. One sunny afternoon in September 1955, Augie takes his kids to a space and science event, Junior Stargazers and Space Cadets. It is happening in a desert named Asteroid City. Asteroid got famous when an asteroid crashed on the land 5,000 years ago. Since then, the place has been developed to accommodate any visitors. Augie and his kids arrive at Asteroid City with the help of a towing car because their car broke down halfway through their journey. Immediately they arrive, Woodrow begins to jot down things which catches his attention. His sisters head to the other side of the road to play and Augie fuels his lighter. After some time, they head to the eatery to fill their tummies. The waitress calls the little girls princesses, and asks them what they want to have, but they tell her that they aren't princesses but a vampire who sucks human blood, an Egyptian mummy that got buried alive and a fairy. The woman is shocked at what the little girls call themselves. Just then, a bomb explodes in the distance and makes the chairs and tables tremble. The waitress explains to them that it's just a bomb test and Augie rushes to take a picture of it. After eating, he takes his car to the repair shop for it to be fixed. The mechanic dismisses his issue as minor. He fixes it and starts the engine only for the car to break down again and even become worse than it was before. Augie then calls Mr. Zach, his in-law, and tells him to come for the girls so that he can stay with Woodrow for the event. Augie and the kids offload their car. Other school kids also arrive with their teacher, June, and the others with their parents. Midge is there with her daughter, Dinah, Clifford and his dad, JJ, Sandy and her daughter, Shelley and Roger and his son, Ricky. Augie gets his kids together and finally tells them about their mother's death. She passed on 3 weeks ago, but it has been hard for him to reveal it to them. Augie tells the kids their mom is in heaven and reassures them that they'll be fine because they'll be staying with their grandfather. Augie shows them their mom's remains. He then takes them to the eatery for ice cream to comfort them. Augie takes a picture of Midge and Dinah while they are eating. Midge questions him that he did that without her permission and he explains that he doesn't typically ask for permission before taking pictures. Midge is an actress so she doesn't want just any picture of her to go out there. She tells Augie to make a print of her picture for her to approve before he goes on to use it and introduces Dinah to them. Later, during the opening ceremony, Clifford, Shelley, Dinah, Woodrow and Ricky are called up on stage for their awards. Ricky demonstrates his work in the field of aeronautical induction and is given the Collapsing Star Award. Clifford demonstrates his work in the field of particle disintegration and is given the Black Hole Badge of Triumph. Dinah shows her work which is fueled by cosmic radiation instead of sunlight and gets the Red Giant Sash of Honor. Shelley synthesized an extraterrestrial element which will be added to the periodic table next year and for that, she gets the Distant Nebula Laurel Crown. Woodrow also shows his work in the sphere of astronomical imaging and he gets the White Dwarf Medal of Achievement. After the opening ceremony, they have a picnic supper. Roger, JJ and Sandy sit at a table and talk space and science. Augie and Midge also get to know each other. The Stargazers enjoy themselves on another table but Woodrow doesn't join them because he's a bit shy. Dinah summons him to join them and he does. They talk about how people think they are abnormally intelligent. Woodrow tells them about his mother's death and shows them her picture. Clifford gets on a building and challenges them to dare him to jump off. They don't, but he jumps off and scatters the cans. When he does that, Woodrow tells them that gravity is his favorite law of physics. After supper, Sandy, JJ and Roger debate on whose child's project is the best. The Stargazers play a memory game while some men light up fireworks. June finds one of her students smoking a cigarette with some men. She gives them a piece of her mind and takes him away. Augie shows Midge the picture he took of her eating waffles and she approves it. He then takes another picture of her and this time around, he asks for permission. The little girls bury their mom's remains in the ground and the fairy amongst them tries performing some magic to bring her alive. Mr. Zach arrives to take the kids with him and they ask him who he is. They don't remember him anymore because they were babies when they met him. He takes his daughter's remains from the ground and the girls yell at him to put it back or else they're going to sacrifice him. He then puts it back and tells them he'll come for it the next morning when he's leaving with them and later give her a proper burial. Later that night, they all come together to view the astronomical ellipses. They put on their refracting box to have a clear view of the 3 dots. Normally, the dots are supposed to be 3 but a green one also appears. It slowly comes down and they find out that it's a ship. An alien creature comes out of it and everyone wonders what it is there for. It steps out timidly and grabs the asteroid that landed 5,000 years ago. Augie takes a picture of it and it leaves. After this event, the government imposes a quarantine on Asteroid City and instructs them to deny every aspect of the event. They then run some tests on everyone to make sure the event didn't have any negative effect on anyone. They attempt to conceal the truth, asserting it wasn't extraterrestrial involvement, but the children prove too smart to be deceived. Now, everyone is making an effort to make living in Asteroid City fun. June tries teaching her students about outer space. Before she even commences her lesson, the children eagerly inquire about the alien. Woodrow and Dinah gaze at the atmosphere, and Dinah shares that she feels at home outside the Earth's atmosphere more than on Earth. Augie prints out the alien's picture and Midge's own he took earlier. Midge tells Augie about her kids and all her ex-husbands. She also adds that she's beginning to feel something for him. Augie doesn't feel okay talking about that because his wife died not long ago, so he asks her to change the subject. Later, Woodrow and his father start asking themselves why the alien came to them and why he took the asteroid away. Augie and Mr. Zack talk about loss, and Augie tells Mr. Zack that he wants the kids to live with him for some time. Later at night, some researchers scan the area where the alien landed. Clifford deceives the soldier stationed at the phone booth, convincing him to insert a coin into the machine to cover a call he supposedly placed earlier. After slotting in the coin, he connects some wires to the phone booth, and Ricky reports the event to his friend. The next day, Asteroid City turns into an alien circus, and the news about the alien goes public. Ricky is confronted by government officials, and he lets them know that he doesn't regret his actions because he thinks that the public has the right to know the truth. The parents of the school kids arrive to collect their children, only to be detained by the government in a metal hut, where they are briefed on the entire situation. One of the kids writes a song about the alien and Montana, and his men help him with it. They all dance to the song, forgetting that the government is watching. Later, Augie helps Midge rehearse her lines for her upcoming role. He hears his sandwich burning and goes to check up on it. Midge then tells Augie that her daughter knows about them because he saw them last night. Augie is worried because Dinah might tell Woodrow. JJ, Sandy and Mr. Zack are practicing with Clifford's invention on how they're going to attack the alien when it shows up again. Sandy asks JJ how long the government is going to keep them in Asteroid City, and he says it's about 6 months to a year. Mr. Zack suggests that they just take their belongings and walk out without harming anyone, but he changes his mind because he says he likes the desert. Just as Sandy is about to take her turn, a soldier confronts them, asking how they got Clifford's invention because they were all under lockdown. JJ takes it from Sandy and points it at the soldier, saying it's his son's invention and he can use it anytime he wishes. Later at night, while the stargazers are playing their usual memory game, Dr. Hickenlooper interrupts them and asks who amongst them stole her radio telescope, signal processing receiver and her entire spectrographic monitoring network. Woodrow answers that they are trying to contact the alien with it, and she insists that they must include her. She then asks if they have heard anything from him so far, and they say that they haven't but are hoping to. Dr. Hickenlooper then calls Woodrow aside and urges him to always trust his curiosity. She tells Woodrow that her lab is always open for him when they leave Asteroid City. An emergency assembly is held. Dr. Hickenlooper and the Military Science Research and Experimentation Division, together with the Larkins Foundation, have selected a stargazer for the year's Hickenlooper Scholarship. Aside from that, the bands have been raised and everyone will be going home tomorrow morning. Just as he is about to call out the winner for the scholarship, the alien shows up again and returns the asteroid. They check the asteroid and realize it has been inscribed. With this sudden happening, the government reinstates the quarantine, and this makes everyone go crazy. Woodrow writes his name and Dinah's on a sheet and projects it onto the moon, and they kiss. The next day, the bans have been lifted again and almost everyone has headed home. Augie wakes up and goes to check on Midge, but only finds people cleaning the place up. He is informed that the president lifted the bans later at midnight. Mr. Zack is trying to make the little girls understand that they can't bury their mom in Asteroid City, but they don't allow him to take the remains, so they pray over it and leave it there. They then go to the eatery to have breakfast. Mr. Zack asks about the person who won the scholarship, and Woodrow says he did and shows them the check General Gibson gave to him last night. Mr. Zack asks him about his plans for it, and he says he's going to spend it on Dinah, his girlfriend. The waitress then hands Augie a sheet containing Midge's address. At the end of the movie, the name Asteroid City is changed to Alien Landing USA. Augie takes his last picture and they leave.